Hey everyone, welcome back for another video. My name is Tanya, for those of you that are new here, and I'm a watercolor and acrylic artist. So today's video, I'm going to be painting a sunflower for you using acrylics on canvas. So I hope you enjoy the video. Okay, so to get started, I have my canvas. It's a 4x4 inch little canvas, and I chose to use the thicker one today just because I think it's cute and you don't have to hang it on the wall if you don't want to. You could just kind of put it on a shelf or a mantle or whatever. So I like using those. I've got my brushes today. I've got my filbert brushes. I've got, let's see, this is an 8, a 10, and a 1/2 inch. So I'll let you know what size I'm using as I'm going along. And I've got my paint already on my palette here. So I've got a brilliant red, a vermilion orange. I've got my cad yellow, my sap green. I've got my blue, my purple, and my titanium white. So if you want to know what colors I'm using, those are the colors I'm using. And I've got my paper towel and my water. All right, so to get started, I'm going to be dipping in my 1/2 inch brush into water just to open up the bristles a little bit. So I'll be doing my background first. I'm going to be picking up my blue, my purple, and my white, all at the same time on my 1/2 inch brush. And I do this because I like to see the colors mix right on to the canvas. I try not to mix too much on my palette. I like to mix most of my colors right on my canvas. I added a little bit of water just to thin it out a little bit so it just goes on a little bit smoother. And then that's just like the first coat. Then I come in with a little bit of a thicker coat with less water for my second coats. But for my first one, I usually use a little bit of water just to kind of have it glide on my canvas a little bit easier. If you choose to mix them on your palette first, you will get a little bit of a more solid color here because you'll be mixing your colors, and it won't be have as much play and as much depth as it does if you actually mix it right onto your canvas. So get that all covered, and you can choose to paint your sides either the same way as you're doing the top, so it wraps your canvas, or if you want to just choose to paint it all black or whatever color you want, you could do that too. I'm choosing to paint my whole canvas the same color as I did on my top. So I'm going to go ahead and get that nicely wrapped on there, and I'm just alternating my blue, my purple, and my white. And whatever I do on the side, I'm going to kind of wrap it around, wrap it up onto the top here so that it kind of flows together with your sides. And my brush strokes are kind of going in every direction, not just up and down or side to side. I'm going in every direction. I just want to have a lot of play in this background. So now, as I'm adding the second coat of paint onto the first, I'm using less water because my canvas is already nicely covered with the first layer, so it's gliding on smoother. Okay, so my canvas is nicely painted. I'm going to go ahead and dry this so we can start our flower. Okay, so now that my canvas is nicely dried, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick up my, let's see, I think I'm going to go ahead and pick up my size 10 brush. And I'm going to go around, so we're going to be doing a sunflower today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just kind of go around and do the middle part of the sunflower first. And you can do it right in the middle of your canvas. You could do it off, so some of the petals bleed off the side of the canvas. I am going to do mine, let's see, I'm going to turn my canvas this way because I want that white part more on the top. I think I'm going to do my sunflower a little bit more to the right lower corner. So I'm just going to be painting in where the center of the sunflower is going to be. I'm then going to move over to my size 8 And I'm going to pick up the same yellow, the cad yellow, and I'm just going to give it the first layer of petals. So I'm going to go around, and we're going to be putting a lot of layers on these. So you want to have nice, good coverage. I'm putting it on kind of thick. And just turn your canvas as you go around. And it's going to start bleeding off the edge here, so you can have it go off the edge a little bit. So the way I'm using this brush is, there's the wide way and there's the thin way. I'm actually starting out my points with the thin way, putting down my paint and then turning it and pressing so that then it opens up to the wide side of my brush down towards the end here. So thin, and then I'm pressing down with the wider part of my brush. All right, so as this is still nicely wet, I'm going to come in with a little bit of my vermilion orange, and I'm going to just go around the center a little bit. I'm still using my size 8. I'm just pouncing the top part of my brush, going around the perimeter of that circle. I want to give a little depth to this flower as we start layering on all the other colors. Okay, and I'm not even washing off my brush because these are the colors I'm going to be using pretty much throughout the whole painting, except for when we get to the leaves and the stem. So I'm really not washing off my brush too much. So I'm picking up a little bit more of that orange, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to just kind of with the thin part of the brush, kind of make these streaks kind of go up from the middle out. You don't have to go all the way up to the tip of your petal. Make as many as you want. We're gonna keep layering this. So right now it looks really funny, but it's gonna look really pretty in the end. We're just putting on another little layer here. I keep picking up my orange as I go around. All right, so we're gonna let that dry for a second. I'm gonna wash off my brush because the paint is actually getting a little too thick on my brush at this point, and I want that nice thin, clean brush for my next little part here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick up that yellow again, and I'm actually gonna do a couple little petals peeking through, maybe like the back petals of the flower peeking through. And you can put as many petals as you want. I think I'm just gonna do 2 layers, and I'm gonna bring in a little bit of green behind the petals as well. So see how that's making it a little bit more full there? Okay, and I'm gonna bring in that orange again, right up onto those. I'm just placing just a little bit of paint right on top of the little petals that I just did. Okay, like that. All right, now I'm gonna clean off my brush again, dab it off on my paper towel, and I'm gonna be picking up my white this time. And I want to just make the outer edges of the petals pop a little bit, seem a little bit more translucent. So I'm going to put a little bit of white right on the edges, the points of the petals here. And I'm bringing it down just a little bit. I'm not going all the way down. Not at this point, at least. And do the same thing with the petals that are wrapped around the side of the canvas here. Okay. All right, so that looks really, really funny right now, but it will make sense in a minute. All right, so now what I'm gonna do, since I did the white on the outer parts of the petals, I'm gonna bring it in just a little bit. just going around all my petals. Just a little bit. I just want a little bit on there. Now I'm going to mix a little bit of white and a little bit of my cad yellow to get a lighter yellow. And I still have a little bit of that orange on my brush, which is totally fine because I'm still using that color as well. And I'm going to come in and kind of fill in and just smooth out some of those strokes that we had just painted on there. So it's kind of filling in. And I'm just going around and around. Okay. You can bring it and blend it in with those white tips that you had done. Blend it in. Okay. All right, so now we got a couple different layers going on there. And we're gonna come in with just our yellow now, and we're gonna pop that back out. Mostly just in the middle of the petal, right here, just to pop it out. Like that. So you've got your white, your light yellow, and now you've got that nice bright cad yellow here. And you've got a little bit of your vermilion orange in there throughout as well. So you've got a lot of layers going on in this flower at the moment. All right, we're gonna let the petals rest a minute and dry up. And I'm gonna wash off my brush. We're gonna go to the middle part of the flower. All right, so we already have our orange in there, but I'm gonna pop it out now with my red. So I'm gonna pick up a little bit of red, and I'm just gonna go over what I had done before. Just twisting this little canvas on my table, just turning it. Okay, and if you wanna bring a little bit of that out as well, to where those little petals are peeking out, if you wanna just do it to like where the little petals might start, the petals that are behind these front ones. So just push that red out a little bit, like that. And now we're gonna pick up, actually, let's go ahead and wash off our brush. We're gonna go ahead and pick up our blue, and we're gonna put a layer of blue on here. And I'm just going around in the same circular motion that I did with my red and my orange, turning the canvas. And you could put them on as much as you want. I'm gonna go maybe halfway in. I'm just pouncing my brush, okay? And I think I'm gonna pick up a little bit of my red, and I'm gonna just dot that in a little bit in here too. I didn't wash off my brush, that's why it's still not a nice clean red. You've got the blue and the red in there mixed in together in the center. I am now going to use the thin part of my brush, and I haven't cleaned it off yet, and I'm just going to bring in a little bit of that blue right onto those red parts that I had done. Just bring a little bit of that out there, like that. All right, I'm going to wash off my brush again, and we're going to start smoothing out our petals. So we're going to let the middle part here dry a little bit. We're going to go back to our petals. I'm going to pick up a little bit of my white, and I'm going to bring in the white just down those little center, just down from the point of the petal, and I'm going to bring it down a little bit just to smooth it out again. I really want this flower to pop off my canvas, so that's why I'm doing so many layers, so many colors. The more colors you use, I find that it just makes for a more interesting painting. It looks not as flat. All right, I am going to bring in that light yellow again. And I'm just dabbing it on the middle part again of my flower. There, look how pretty that is. So you can see all the underlayments of the red, the bright yellow, and then you can see that I layered on some whites and some light yellows. You can see everything in there. I'm going to go ahead and pick up my yellow, and I'm going to just dab in just very gently, I'm going to dab in some yellow onto the center part of my flower. Just kind of in a linear motion, just going around the center. Okay, like that, just to give it a little interest. I'm going to use my light yellow, and I'm going to give it a little bit of a center here. I'm just, again, lightly pouncing my brush right in the middle. Perfect. All right, we're gonna let our flower dry a minute, and we're gonna pick up our green. This is just my sap green. And I'm gonna mix in there a little bit of yellow, so I'm getting this kind of limey color. And start thinking about where you want your stem. You can have your flower positioned any which way. I think I'm gonna have my stem come out this way, almost like the flower's curved. So kind of just eyeball it from the center of the flower out to where you want it. And I'm gonna bring it down the side of my canvas as well. And make your stem not too thick, but thick enough that you think it can hold up that large head of the sunflower. Because sunflowers do have nice big stems. I'm gonna pick up a little bit more of my green. I'm gonna branch off right here and make a leaf. And I've got the yellow and the green still on my brush, so they blend together on my canvas. Wrap that leaf around. You can add a little bit of yellow, you can add a little bit of blue. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. Maybe another leaf come up this way. Again, bleed off the side. I'm going to add a little bit of yellow. Okay, and I'm going to add a little bit of blue now because I want to just kind of darken this up, especially right under where the stem and the petals are. You're going to want to darken it up a little bit because there's a shadowed area where the petals are probably shadowing part of the stem. And then you can add a little bit of blue onto your petals. So it's just going to darken up. It's just going to darken up your leaves a little bit. But I'm not putting the blue everywhere. All right, and now I'm going to pick up a little bit of my yellow, and you can start bringing in a little bit of the leaves that are behind. So you can use a yellow green, more of a blue green. I'm just using whatever I've got on my brush already, which was the yellow and the green. I'm peeking through just a little bit of those, the green that's behind the stems. If you think it's not dark enough, add a little bit of blue. If you think it's too dark, add a little yellow. And do as many as you want. I'm going to add just a little bit of blue in there. I'm not even washing off my brush. I'm just going to add a little bit of blue in there. Just to kind of pop it off my canvas a little bit. Just like that. Perfect. Actually, I think I'm going to do one over here too, bleeding off the side. Okay. I'm going to wash off my brush. And I'm going to start making some leaves around my canvas. So I'm going to flip it over onto the side, and I'm just going to have some leaves bleeding off the side of my canvas here, almost as if there was other flowers around and you're only seeing their leaves. Again, just the red and the green. See, I have red and green, mostly the yellow and the green. So I've got mostly the yellow on one side and the green on the other. And you can make as many of these as you want. Pop in a little more green on this one. clean this one up a little bit down here. And then just keep going around your canvas. And add as many as you want. Especially since you don't know which way the person's going to be placing this. If they're going to, you know, have this be the bottom or this be the bottom or whatever. You just kind of want leaves just around here and there. Just so they can see some of them depending on which way they position the painting. Let's have one coming up here. And then just make sure to bleed it down the side as well. There, like that. Super pretty. All right, we're gonna go back to our flower and just kind of clean it up a little bit. We could leave it totally like that because it's beautiful just like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and play around with it just a little bit more. I'm gonna bring in a little bit of that dark blue again. Just deepen it up right here in the middle. I'm just pouncing on some blue, maybe even in the middle right here. Okay. And I'm going to bring a little bit of that blue up again. And just keep adding more layers until you think and feel that it is the way you wanted it. And I think I want to add a little bit more of that texture right in the middle. And you can bring it out a little bit too. There you go. Beautiful. And you can always add in a little bit more yellow if you want to, like in the leaves. If you feel like some of the leaves need a little bit more vibrancy, you can just keep adding a little bit of yellow. You can even add a little bit of white in here if you want. And just keep playing around with it till you think it feels right. There, beautiful. Thanks so much for watching the video. I hope you liked it and learned a little something. And if you did like it, please give me a thumbs up and you can make a comment in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe if you want more videos like this one. And you can also follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Have a great day. Bye.